If you're in need of an easier way to get up into your 2010 through 2024 Crew Cab Ram 2500, these square tube drop style Nerf side step bars in matte black will do the trick. Now, getting in the truck at stock height can be tough, especially for your shorter passengers, so when you add a lift, it's next to impossible to effortlessly get in, which is where this set helps out. Now, these make for a dramatic difference in accessibility with the large drop step here to make your life much easier on a day-to-day basis, and they also serve as some solid protection at the same time if you want a tougher choice when it comes to a step. Now, each of these steps has two large cutouts for the front and rear doors, lowering the stepping surface by about 3 inches to help reduce the effort of stepping up and getting into the truck. And each of these steps does have a raised cutout surface, which is going to provide some extra traction underneath your shoe to prevent any slipping. Now, this also has a big surface area as far as real estate for your foot is concerned. It's about 15 inches across and roughly 4 3/4, almost 5 inches deep. And it does have a backing here, or a backed surface, so it'll provide a closed off look as well as a good amount of function so your foot's not slipping through. Now, speaking of the look, the steps also have a boxier and more angular shape to them, adding some ruggedness to the side of your truck, especially with the matte black coating. These are made of a steel box tube and plate style construction, so not only will they provide solid support, but they are more durable than lighter duty materials while also staying pretty lightweight themselves because of the box tubing, which is great for protection if you do come into contact with hazards on or off-road and you don't want to add a ton of weight to the side of your Ram. Now, on top, I mentioned that this has a black coating, which makes for a tough look, and it consists of a powder coat, which helps resist rust on the steel surface and keeps this look for years to come. The kit also comes with powder-coated steel brackets and all the required hardware for a direct bolt-on, modification-free construction. These are about $375 and are relatively affordable for a side step in the category, especially a drop step option. I think the most notable takeaway here is the full and finished looking build compared to more skeletal style or tubular options, which adds a lot of ruggedness to the step. Now, in addition to the large step and decent drop without being too low or compromising clearance, that provides a good balance of accessibility while also having a good amount of functionality when it comes to that additional clearance and protection. Now, if those specific features are some of what you're looking for in a side step while keeping it to the more affordable side of the spectrum, then this is a great pick for you. Install is a simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and will take about an hour or so to get these installed. These do come in a 2-piece construction. The step bolts underneath the frame portion here, and then you can bolt them up with the brackets and all of the hardware in the kit. Again, about an hour, very simple. Now, at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown step by step. So that is going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and jump into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, 10 and 13 millimeter sockets, and 10 and 13 millimeter wrenches. Also, an extra set of hands if you have one available. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing some side steps on our Ram, so let's get started. Alright, so to get it started installing our side steps, we're going to need to get under the truck, essentially behind our rocker panels, and locate our mounting points and install our bracketry. So we'll get under there and start doing that now.
Alright, so now we're underneath the truck behind our rocker panels, and you're going to find 3 of these mounting point sections. They're going to have some hex openings and a larger opening above it. Now, from the factory, if you haven't touched this before, there's most likely going to be some tape over this larger opening. You want to go ahead and remove that and discard it. Now, depending on the trim level of your truck, you may have threaded inserts already in these hex openings. In our case, we do not, so we're going to need to install our bolt and nut plate. So we've got our plate, and we're going to grab one of our mounting bolts for our bracket, and we're going to use that as a handle. So we're going to thread that into our nut side, just a few threads. We're going to send this through our opening and then get this lined up with one of our hex openings like so. We're going to hold on to that. We're going to grab one of our provided soft washers. This is just to help hold this in place so it doesn't fall in. We're going to thread that onto our stud side while still holding on to our bolt. We definitely don't want to let go at this point. It will fall in. Sometimes you may be able to push these into place. Sometimes you have to thread them. Now, if you do have the threaded inserts in your hex openings, you can skip this step and go right to what we're going to show you next. But since ours doesn't, this is where we're at. And so once we have that in enough to hold that, we can grab onto our stud side, remove our bolt, and this is going to drop down. We're going to be able to use this stud to align our nut to our opening when we install our main brackets. So we'll do the same thing now for our front and rear mounting section, and we'll come back and install our main brackets. All right, so now that we have our bolt and nut plate in, we can install our main brackets. Now, if you do have the threaded inserts already, you'll need 2 of your provided bolts with lock washers and flat washers. If you're doing it like we are, we need 1 bolt and 1 nut with a lock washer and flat washer as well. So what we're gonna do is send our bracket over our stud side. Now this can be a little bit tricky, but we're gonna have to kind of hold this in place and then get our nut aligned with our hole and get our bolt started into our nut. Can run this down just about hand tight. We don't want to fully tighten anything yet because we want to be able to adjust our steps. Now that we have that on, grab a flat washer, a lock washer, and our provided nut for our stud side. Then once we have this one loosely in place, we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other 2 brackets. So now that we have all of our main brackets in place, we can install our support brackets that are going to go from the back side of our pinch weld to our main bracket. So we're going to lay this in with the bend going towards our main bracket. We're going to grab 2 of our provided 10mm bolts and flat washers. We'll get one in place first. And on the back side of that, you want to add in another flat washer and a lock nut. Once we get our first 10mm bolt in, we can then add in our main bracket bolt, which is going to be a 13 with a flat washer, another flat washer on the other side, and a lock nut there. And we'll come back and add in our second 10mm bolt. Now these holes in the pinch weld do come pre-drilled from the factory, so you don't have to drill those out. We'll get our flat washer on the back side and our other lock nut. We're gonna leave these loose as well. We'll do the same thing for the other 2 brackets. All right, so now that we have all of our bracketry installed, we've got our steps and our rail up on the table, and we're gonna need to assemble these. So we've got 12 of our provided bolts, lock washers, and flat washers, and both of our steps. Now we have our rail upside down, and it's got these threaded inserts already installed. So we're gonna flip our steps upside down, line these up with our threaded inserts, and install all of our bolts. So we'll begin getting all of our bolts installed. There are 2 at each side, and then 2 along the back as well. Once we have these loosely installed, we'll grab our 13mm socket on our impact and tighten these down. Now for even pressure, we're going to alternate sides and work around on how we tighten them. Now we'll do the same thing for our other step. Now that we have our steps on, we're going to need to install our provided T-bolts for our mounting points on our rails. So we've got slots at the middle, front, and back of our rails. So we're going to grab our T-bolts and we're going to grab our provided plastic washers. And we'll get those threaded on a little bit. So these are going to hold your T-bolts in place. Get that started. Now you don't want to go all the way down, you just want to have it a few threads on for now. So get that on there pretty good.
Then we're gonna slide our T-bolts into the slot and rotate them 90 degrees. Now if you need to go down a little bit farther on your plastic washer, you can. You want it to be just about flush, but give it some room to move. Just like so. Then we'll do the same thing for the rest of our T-bolts. Now we're ready to install our steps onto our brackets. So we're gonna line up those T-bolts that we installed previously with our main brackets. Now if you need to adjust a little bit to get them in place, that's fine. I'm gonna start with the center one, and then we're gonna add in a flat washer and a lock nut for each of our T-bolts. Now you wanna make sure the drain hole on your rail is to the rear and bottom of your side step. Now that we have all of our T-bolts lined up with our brackets, we can install our flat washers and our lock nuts. So now that we have our hardware in place and you've made any adjustments you want to make to have your steps sitting where you want them, we can tighten down all of our hardware, and we're going to start with our lock nuts on our rails. So we've got our 13 mil socket on our impact. We're going to tighten these down. We have that tight. We'll come up to our support bracket on our pinch weld. And for that, we're gonna grab our 10 millimeter socket on a ratchet and a 10 millimeter wrench. Tighten these up. Next, we'll grab our 13 mil socket again and a 13 millimeter wrench to tighten down our through bolt for our support bracket. You notice that's going to pull that flush with the support bracket. And once again, we'll use our 13 mil socket to tighten down our upper nut and bolt for our main bracket. Now once you have everything tightened down on this bracket, you can repeat the same process for your other two brackets. So now that you've got this side buttoned up, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our square tube drop style Nerf side step bars in matte black finish for your 10 to current Ram 2500 crew cab. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.